Hi, my name is Chris Sturham. Welcome to another episode of Drinks from Eddie Muller's Noir Bar. Each week I take a chapter from the book Eddie Muller's Noir Bar, Cocktails Inspired by the World of Film Noir, and I talk about the film in that chapter and I make the drink associated with it. Today we're going to be talking about the film The Strange Love of Martha Ivers and making the drink the Brooklyn. Now, first of all, I want to apologize for not posting last week. I tested positive for COVID, so even though it was kind of a mild case, I didn't really want to be drinking, alcohol when I had COVID, so I decided just not to do one. I am back. Next week, I will be taking another break because next week is WonderCon, and I'll be up in Anaheim working at WonderCon. And I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to be doing a video the week of the TCM Film Festival, which comes up in April, so I will let you know about that later. Anyway, the film, A Strange Love of Martha Ivers. It was released in 1946, directed by Louis Milestone, who was kind of like one of those journeyman studio directors. He directed All Quiet on the Western Front. He directed Of Mice and Men. At least I think it was of Mice and Men. It was definitely a Steinbeck one. He directed the 1962 version of Mutiny on the Bounty and this film noir. Now, the film stars Barbara Stanwyck, Van Heflin, Kirk Douglas, and Elizabeth Scott, not Elizabeth Scott. The story starts about 18 years in the past when Van Heflin and Barbara Stanwyck and Kirk Douglas's characters were all about 13, 14 years old. Barbara Stanwyck is the niece of a very rich woman who wants her to be a good, upstanding young woman who would be worthy of inheriting her fortune, and not like her father, who both her parents are dead, but not like her father, who came from the wrong side of the track, which of course rubs Barbara Stanwyck the wrong way, and there's tension there. Yeah, tension. Let's call it that. Anyway, so on the night that Barbara Stanwyck and Van Heflin plan to run away together when they're about 13 years old, Barbara Stanwyck is picked up and brought back to her aunt, and Van Heflin kind of knows something of what is going on, but decides to leave before he gets in trouble, so he doesn't really know exactly what went on. And it turns out after Van Heflin's character left, there was an altercation between Barbara Stanwyck and her aunt, and let's just say some bad things happen. Fast forward 18 years to 1946. Van Heflin is a veteran. He's kind of a drifter. He's just driving his car across the country. He has an accident, has to stop in, his old hometown. While he's in the garage trying to get his car fixed, he notices a poster on the wall, and it's a man who looks like a scared little boy, and it turns out that was his boyhood friend, who's of course played by Kirk Douglas. Now, turns out Kirk Douglas is running for district attorney, and when Van Heflin shows up, they both Kirk Douglas and Barbara Stanwyck are kind of, well, let's call it tense with him being there, thinking he's there for some bad purpose, like he's going to blackmail them, although he's not even sure what he would be blackmailing about them. Of course, what happens is because they try to get rid of him, that forces him to try to figure out what's going on, and of course it doesn't take much to make the whole thing unravel. While he's there, Van Heflin meets Elizabeth Scott, and he falls for her. She is, in a way, playing against type. She's kind of down on her luck. She's been in jail, but she's definitely not the femme fatale here. That is all Barbara Stanwyck. Now, Kirk Douglas Also kind of playing against type, although I don't think he had a type at this point. This is a very early movie for him. I don't remember, I forgot to look it up whether this was his first film, but he really hadn't established a type yet. He's not the tough guy here. The term they use to describe him, a grown man who looks like a scared little boy, is perfect for him. He's the alcoholic husband of a domineering Barbara Stanwyck. And then Van Heflin, just really good actor. Not necessarily somebody I think of a lot, but he's always good whenever I see him in something. So I really, he's good here, like he always is. And then, of course, you've got Barbara Stanwyck. Now, Barbara Stanwyck, incredible actress. Her film noir creds are as good as anybody. Her pre-code creds are as good as anybody. She could do drama with films like Stella Dallas. She had a great hand for comedy with things like Ball of Fire and The Lady Eve. And then, of course, she made the quintessential film noir film with Double Indemnity. And if it wasn't for Double Indemnity, this role of Martha Ivers that she plays in The Strange Love of Martha Ivers would be enough to cement her as a great film noir actress. She's really good in it. She's manipulative. She's vindictive. She's everything you want a film noir femme fatale to be. The ending, I'm trying to avoid spoiling, but the ending hits really hard, and that's not something you see a lot in film noir. A lot of times they want to tack on a happy ending. This is not necessarily a happy, well, it's definitely not a happy ending, but the way it unfolds is it kind of hits, and that's one of the things that makes it great. The drink, we are going to make the Brooklyn, which is in honor of Barbara Stanwyck. That's where she was born, and that's where she was raised before she started dancing on stage at the age of 16, and then went to Hollywood and became the pre-code queen, and then the film noir queen that we all know and love. So anyway, we're going to take a short break, and I will come back and make the Brooklyn. Hope you stick around for that. Thanks. And we are back. So we are going to make the Brooklyn. Now, this is a stirred drink, so we're going to load up our stirring glass with some ice. And then we are going to start with 1 3/4 ounces of rye whiskey. So that would be the 3/4. And I am almost out of rye. Okay, and the ounce, so that's 1 3/4 ounces. 3/4 ounce of dry vermouth. Okay, and let's see, we have 1/2 ounce of, basically it was Picon Amer, or Amer Picon, which apparently is something you can't find, but this Torani Amer is apparently a good substitute for it. And so for that, we are using 1/2 ounce of that. This is actually an aperitif, but it has lemon flavor in it. And then top it off with 1/4 ounce of Luxardo liqueur, which is maraschino cherry liqueur. Okay, now we're going to give this a stir. And then we are going to strain it into a chilled coupe glass. And there we go. And then for garnish, we are using Luxardo cherries. So I'm gonna already have them on the toothpick, and I'm going to give it a shot. Oop, there they go into the drink. That is that's good. It's very boozy with that much rye, but it's also got some herbal notes going on, but not like some of the other ones that I've kind of been complaining about lately have been kind of almost cough syrupy. I'm not getting that from this one. Definitely, you know you're having a drink here, but it's nice. I like it. So we're gonna call that a day. Remember, next week I will not be recording a video, but we will see you in 2 weeks with a new video on, I don't know, I think I only have about 7 or 8 drinks left in this thing, and then pretty soon I'm going to be, Alexander wept because there was no more booze to conquer. Anyway, from a booth in the back of Eddie Muller's Noir Bar, we're going to say cheers, and hope we see you next time. Thanks.